Okay, first of all, I want to. Well, I don't know if I should apologize. Tell me down in the comments if you guys liked me reading it to you. Second of all, maybe I should apologize a little. I mean, I do my original, like, I talk about it and then I talk about the stuff that happens in the comic book, and then, I do the occasional reading a little. Like, this person says this, that person says this. I mean, yeah, I do reading on the channel. It's not like, I'm gonna say I'm never gonna read on the channel. It's not like I've ever said that in the first video. But I just want your feedback. Okay? Because it's been a while since what was the last video I did on this channel? Let me check. Oh, okay, yeah, it's been a while. Even since the last Flash video. So, and it's even been a while since I read that comic book. So I was like, okay, so let's just read it to them. I usually sometimes, and you know what? I don't care if I throw myself under the bus or if I tell you this, because I'm pretty sure most people do this, like when they have a channel like this and they're teaching comic books to people. I usually read it before I start telling you about like what's going on in the comic book, because sometimes there's like a lot of things that go on throughout my day in the month. Sorry, I meant to say there's like a lot of things that go on throughout my days in the month, and I kind of have a hard time like, keeping up with, like, am I gonna be able to record again? And then it's like it gets to around to where it's like it's hard to remember. Okay? But I just wanted to apologize for if you like where I usually tell you what's going on to where I was reading it to you, or if you usually like what I usually do, or to where I'm reading it to you. I just wanted to let you know, okay? So, I'm not just saying, like, you know how usually, like, in, like, family videos, where, like, this is usually me when, when I'm recording, and then, like, this is, like, I'll just, like, read and just, like, forget when, like, the, camera goes off. No, I'm showing you everything, okay? I'm showing you everything. Because I want to show you the hard times too, okay? So, like, sometimes if it gets hard for me and I can't remember, I'll have to go to reading. Or, like, if I know, I just want to continue apologizing. Or, like, if it, I do have those moments of, like, or I want to do when I was doing it, I will tell you everything that's going on in the comic book. But I just really want to apologize, okay? Because like that first Batman comic, it was really hard for me, and I had to go back a couple times, and I had to read over it a bunch of times, and it's like it was it was really hard. I couldn't remember, so I just had to read it to you guys, okay? Okay, so now that we got that out of the way, we are gonna read the second detective comic book. Okay. Hold on. Okay. Now I told you everything, and I did go through this one, and it was easy for me to remember. Okay. So, Batman slash Bruce Wayne. So he's Bruce Wayne right now. He is on a phone call. I mean, I know it'd be easier for me if I just read this to you and you'd be like, oh, okay, we understand. But no, I'm going to tell you. Okay, so he's on a phone call. He's pretending to be Commissioner Gordon. And this is kind of like a bad guy that's helping the other bad guys. And this guy over here on the other page. Sorry, I'll use my. Okay, this guy right here on the other page is telling him everything because he doesn't. This guy, he doesn't know that Bruce Wayne, that's pretending to be um Gordon, he doesn't know that. Okay, so Bruce Wayne is pretending to be Commissioner Gordon. He gets all the information. And he goes and he puts on his Batman suit. And then he goes and sees where the. Okay, so he's. I don't know what's shown here. Okay, so I guess it shows first that. So he goes and stalks the bad guys. And then he comes in and takes them out. Okay, and then the bad guys. One of them tried to hit him with a knife. You see right here. Okay, and then it says. Then one of the bad guys says, "Don't shoot him because it will draw the cops." And then Batman. I don't really know what this is. Okay, let's just say he's booting him with his feet. I don't really know what that's called. If someone knows what that's called with his legs, where he's doing that, like, I mean, I know that's probably a wrestling term because like I've watched a lot of wrestling, but I don't bring that into comic books because I like to leave that. I like to leave wrestling and comic books as its own thing. I don't like to talk about wrestling and comic books at the same time. Okay, so if somebody down in the comments, I mean, I know I don't get a lot of those because not a lot of people usually watch my stuff because it doesn't get watched as much. But anyways, if somebody can tell me down in the comments what that is called. Okay, anyways. So Batman is taking out the bad guys. And then it says, meanwhile, the other thief, instead of I don't know what that says. rises to his feet, and in a last desperate move reaches for his gun. Okay, so he's pulling out a gun, and the other bad guy we talked about, he said, don't try to shoot Batman because it will draw the cops. So he's not listening to his partner. And he's going to try to shoot Batman, and then the cops will probably come. Okay, and then Batman punches the guy with the gun, and then on the second panel over here, he's laid out. So so basically he knocked him out. Okay, and then in come the cops, and then it says, the body of the man that went over the roof has... so basically... Okay, so let me take you to what it was talking about when we were reading there. It says the body of the man. Okay, so when... Here, I have to do this real quick to show you. Batman's legs, he's doing right here. Like I said, tell me what Batman's doing in the comments. So basically, what he's doing right here, he did this weird thing with his legs, and he threw this guy off the building. Back, okay. Now, the body of the man that went over the roof has now, it wasn't the gun of the guy who wasn't listening to his partner. It was the body of the man where, Batman. Yeah, Batman drew all the cops, okay. Batman was the one who drew the cops, okay. Okay, back to the sentence here. The body of the man that went over the roof has attracted the police. They seem to surprise the Batman, who drops a bag of the jewels. And then they're like, it's the Batman! Okay, and then we're gonna go... Okay, so Batman says, sorry, gentlemen, but I'm afraid I have to... Okay, hold on. Just one more thing. I know I apologize about how I can't remember and I just read it to you guys. But one more other thing. If you guys want me to do voices when I read it to you guys, there is no way I am going to be able to do that. I am terrible at doing voices. I mean, look, I know people in comic books, doesn't matter if it's graphic novels or just basic like this with DC and Marvel or whatever. You know that they're never going to speak, and you can speak for them, and you can have whatever voice you want. But here's the thing. If you want me to do Kevin Conroy's voice, or the voice from the shows that you grew up with, that's never going to happen. If you want me to do a specific voice, that's never going to happen either. I mean, I can't do a good voice for any comic book character. If you want me to do a silly voice, cool. That's great. I'll do a silly voice for a comic book character if you want me to. Just write it down in the comments and I'll do it. Okay, back to what we were reading. Okay. So sorry, gentlemen, but I'm afraid I have to go now. Good night. Okay. Now, what we were talking about in the first one. Remember how I told you, we just went over this in the last one. Remember how I told you where Batman and the police, I almost said Batman in the comics. No, okay. Batman and the police don't get along. Yeah. I said that because it happens in the very first two issues. The first one, he gets shot at, and the second one, it is happening right here. Look, you can go to any channel, you can call them out on their BS. Sorry, look, I'm a family friendly person here. I don't cuss, but I shouldn't have said BS because we all know what BS is. You can call them out on whatever, but I do not lie when it comes to comic books. I will read every comic book here on the channel, and I will tell you everything you want to know about comic books. I will not lie. But it is true. Batman, when when Batman first started, Batman and the police did not like each other. They did not get along. The police always shot at him, and he always fled, and he did not like them, and the police did not like him. Okay. Oh. Okay. So, Batman, he jumps off the roof, does like some kind of somersault thing, and he lands on the next roof, and then he uses his lasso, which you see here. Okay, now he's going to drop on the lower building over there. Okay, and then he gets away from the cops. Okay. Okay, and then the cops say, we got the jewels and the other guys, and we know that the Batman is one of them. Maybe the head of the gang. Say, I wonder what they fought over, though. This is exactly what the Batman wants them to think. Well, see why in a minute. Okay, so the paper writes Batman had a jewel gang, and then this guy finds out that Batman, I don't know, is head of the jewel gang, and then he says the Batman certainly fixed us. So he just basically thinks that he's in on it. Okay, now that this, I don't know, Ricky guy, he thinks that the police will be after Batman, and they'll just leave them alone. Okay, Batman comes and kicks in the window, and I don't know, does like a little drop kick kind of thing. Kicks him in the mouth, and then takes out these guys. And then he says, thanks, gentlemen. We're waiting. You'll never know how much I appreciate your favor. And then he calls and says hello. Oh, picks up a telephone and says, "Hello, Commissioner Gordon. This is the Batman talking. You'll send over some men to the Norton home. You'll find something there might interest you." And then he just leaves. Okay, so we talked about this as well last time. Okay, so when Batman first started, he didn't have a car. He didn't have no Batmobile. He didn't know. He didn't have no fancy Bat car, no Batmobile like the one in like well, I don't know if anyone's ever seen the one in the 1999 series. So yeah. So this is the one that he has before he had all the cool cars. Or I don't know if anyone's ever seen the one from Batman Begins. Yeah, this is the Batmobile that he had before those. Okay, now we're at this guy's Ricky's house, and he gets a knocking on his door, and he's like, "Who's that? You, boss?" And he says, "Yes, let us in." And it's Batman. And then Batman beats him up, and he ties him up, and he throws him out the window. Okay, and then Batman says, "Keep quiet and listen. I want a complete written confession from you about those jewels, robberies, and or else I'll cut the rope." Okay, and then he's like, all right, pull me up. I'll confess. Pull me up. Okay, and then Batman says that should interest the police, Frenchie. And then suddenly, he tried to jump at Batman, and Batman punches him. And then he says, "Don't hit me like that again. Please. Hit me. Don't hit me." And then Batman ties Frenchie up and carries him to his car. Okay, and then he takes him to the police. And then the police are shocked and like, and he says, "Did you see that?" Okay, now they're questioning him. Okay, and then there's a letter from the Batman. It says, "Dear Commissioner, I thought you might like to have the letter of the Jewel Gang, and I am also leaving his confession and stolen jewels till we meet again. I remain." And it's just a bat signal. Okay. Okay, thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed.